गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री Gurave Namaha. We are in Pancadasi, chapter 3, verse number 43, the last verse, and here the conclusion of the study of the chapter 3 is told. What is the fruit that is accrued by a seeker who has subjectively applied the knowledge given in this chapter 3. If he applies the Panchakosha Viveka, the discrimination, not on other people but on himself, then what is the fruit? It is told, Ya evam brahma vedaisha Ya evam brahma vedaisha Brahmaiva bhavati swayam Brahmaiva bhavati swayam Brahmano nasti janmataha Brahmano nasti janmataha Punaresha na jayate Punaresha na jayate. So it says, he who thus recognizes the Brahman as indicated in this chapter by discrimination of 5 sheaths comes to be Brahman. The Brahman is not born, therefore he is never again born. Ya evam Brahma vedaisha. Vedaisha, thus, the Veda to know, from vid dhatu. So the one who knows, Ya evam Brahma, Brahman in this manner. See? Then what will happen if you know Brahman in this manner? What in last 42 verses what we have done? Then Brahmaiva bhavati swayam. Then he will be the Brahman that he was seeking. Not become. Not become. He will be the Brahman that he was seeking. So this is the conclusion. Then what happens after that? Brahmano nasti janmataha. Such a Brahman, such a person who has now recognized that he is Brahman, and this recognition is without thoughts, it's through aparoksha anubhuti, it's through direct experience, or I should say direct experienceless experience. For such a person there is no more birth. So Brahmano nasti janmataha punaresha na jayate. In this way he is never born again. We are born again. Those who still feel they are separate from the reality, separate from the self, they will be born again and again. But this person who has recognized himself as Brahman, for him there is no rebirth, there is no birth. Simple as that. Why? Because Brahman is not born. The individual is born and the individual dies. Isn't it? That also can be refuted. So in this way, he who knows Brahman in this way by following the method of Panchakosha as explained in this chapter comes to realize that this Brahman is the I. This Brahman and this conclusion, this declaration, this revelation that is taking place within him. When we say I, a I thought is formed, isn't it, in the mind? And the moment I thought will come, at the same time that thought will also come. And some statement will be formed in your mind that I know I am. Story over. You have already lost it. That moment is gone. So this is not So this is not a recognition through the mind. It is a recognition by the self in the self. That's what it is. And this is happening even right now. But because of the onslaught of thoughts, because of the onslaught of thinking, because of the obsession with the outer world, because of us giving undue value to the outside world, to the physical world, to the body, to the breath, to the mind, to the intellect, this that we already are is not being recognized. So what we have to do is reduce the value giving to the outside world. That, what does that mean? That you see, hear, touch, feel, taste, everything. Let the mind think, but you do not get disturbed by it. You do not give value to it. Let it happen. So here a few. So what is this state? Here it is told, Swamiji says, Brahmajnanam is that knowledge where the knower and known duality is absent. See? For a knower and known, I am the knower, you are the known. Come one step closer, I am the knower, body is the known. Come one step closer, I am the knower, the vital air is the known. Come one even closer, I am the knower, the mind is known. I am the knower, the intellect, the decisions that the intellect is making, that is known. I am the knower, the Anandamaya Kosh, which is zero thought-free mind, that is also known. So, once you have recognized, first intellectually, but then start applying it. Yeah man, I am knowing, then why am I thinking that I am the body? If I know the breath, then why do I feel that I cannot live without the breath? I am someone else other than the breath. So who is this me? But the mind is still agitated. Then you start dealing with the mind. You look at the mind, recognize you are the observer, not the observed. Separate yourself, come back, and once you come to a point where there is nothing more to be disturbed about, that there is no more obsession with anything, not the world, not the body, not the breath, not the mind, not the intellect, and not even absence of all these. Then what is there? That one is the self. That is the I. So that time, I am. This thought will come and you will still be. After that, you don't need to keep saying I am to prove yourself. Like in some places, the sadhana goes soham, 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 soham. There is a natural sadhana that is going on with every in-breath and out-breath. That is called soham. I am, I am, I am. But we don't need to think about it because we already are. So in this way, the knower and known difference becomes null and void when the Brahmajnanam, the knowledge of the self, takes place. This is how Panchakosha Vivek has to be practiced. Here are the few guidelines given for this practice. What is the first point? Panchakosha is an entirely subjective exercise. It is to be applied on yourself and not on others. It is not to be taught to others. It is not to be argued about. It is not to be, discussion is okay, but only so that you become clear. Hey, you have to become disidentified with the body. You can't say that. Are you? Are you disidentified that you are telling someone else that you be disidentified? Vedanta, that is, this Vivek is applied on oneself, and while dealing with others, one deals in an atmosphere of love and understanding. So, with the other people, Vedanta is not to be applied. With other people, only devotion, service, sacrifice. With yourself, be strict, ruthless. And that is what Vedanta is. It does not allow you to get caught up in anything. Apply Vedanta on yourself and devotion and sacrifice on others. So we do totally the other way. We apply devotion, poor me, need attention, needs compassion, needs sympathy, and others, don't you know? Unnecessarily crying if someone has died? No, with them go and share their pain, their grief. Panchakosha is not a mere intellectual jugglery, then one gets lost in the forest of clever words. So sometimes people say that here also it has happened in many classes, not by you, maybe someone before, that this is just words. It's too much. Why it is happening? Why does it happen? Because this comment comes that you get frustrated by too much of words, because you are not applying it on yourself. All that is happening is collection of information and the database, the hard disk is getting full. And as hard disk is getting full, more data is coming in, more words are coming in because we have not applied it on ourselves. So that time you want to know, intellectually you understand, but you want to remain in control and work out the answer. That is the problem. Who wants to remain in control? The individual, the ego. That fellow wants to remain in control. And as long as you want to remain in control, you want to remain in control of your mind, you want to be in control of your sadhana, you want to remain in control of your convictions, conclusions. As long as this control is there, then this controller, so-called the individual, Jivatma, he wants to see a result happening to him. See? And as long as this control is there, this feeling will always be there that I want to have an experience of the self. But if you have studied and understood correctly, there is no one to experience the self. The individual vanishes, then alone the experience of the self comes forth, isn't it? And how will that happen? That will only happen by applying this information, this knowledge on ourselves. So therefore, we can speak about it, we can give lectures about it, we can explain to others about it, we can at a drop of a hat say what each kosha is, but the purpose of all this is not to be a scholar. The purpose of all this is to apply on yourself and see that the one whom we are talking about, the conclusion, is none other than yourself. And if that is the case, then why am I not knowing myself? Because you are still, then the answer here is, how does one know that the Panchakosha Vivek is proceeding in the right direction? By certain indicators. So what are the indicators? How do you know that a disease is, the medicine is functioning or not? How do you know that the business is successful or not? How do you know business is successful? That the credits are more than the debits, isn't it? Incomings are more than the outgoings. How do you know medicine is effective? That if you have applied some medicine on a wound, then it is healing, isn't it? And in that healing also, if there is a cut or something, there are stages. First stage is there is a what do you call that, Amma? Scab. There is a scab, then it becomes hard, then it's peels away, drops away by itself. But if you try to take it out by your by scratching, then it will again, the wound will become fresh again. So similarly here also there are certain symptoms. And what are the symptoms? The first symptom is that there will be you will watch that you are becoming dispassionate about everything in the world. Majority of the people, the moment they experience this, they stop. Why? Fear. What do you mean? That I cannot enjoy being a wife or a husband. I cannot enjoy being a mother. I cannot enjoy going shopping. Is that what dispassion is? And they clutter their mind with so much of imagination without even having experienced what true vairagya is, true dispassion is. See? This and in this way, the attachment to the panchakoshas, to the body, to the mind, intellect will become minimal, and as the seeker goes deeper and deeper with his own personality, he will attain tranquility without effort. Peace, tranquility, silence, all this cannot be gained by efforts. It has to happen. You have to create the right condition. You have to create the right condition. What do you have to do to say to let go of something? What do you have to do really? You have to do something. Do you have to physically do something? Yes, physical letting go is I hold on to something and I let go. This is let go. At the level of mind, how do you let go? The world?
Or reaction.
Huh?
Just accept it. Accept comes in.
Not giving
Not,
value.
Accept what?
Just accept it as in
No, accept.
coming and going. Like it's a
Ah.
part of.
See, one understanding of ours is when we say letting go, I am attached to you and I have to let go of you, right? Because now I become too close and it is becoming a problem. Sometimes it happens. Some person becomes close and they start today someone called after 28 years. We used to work together in Baghdad. I don't know from where he found, sent an email, please give me your phone number, I want to call. I didn't know who it was. And then he called me and the whole the time that we had in 3 years in Baghdad, all those memories is reminded. So then started becoming familiar. Initially I was okay. Then he started saying, how are your dad? How is your mom? How is your sister? I said, you're going in the wrong direction. I answered him little bit, but then when he started wanting to know more, I said, you tell me about yours, but don't ask a sannyasi about his. See? But then he continued, he didn't talk about that then, but he continued all the people from there whom he has got in touch with and this and that, and for half an hour he was talking. See? So what was it? How did I stop getting attached at that moment? One thing is I say something and I stop going into that area, isn't it? How long will I keep doing that? How long will I keep stopping the world from asking me that question? Can I? It will not end. It will not end. If someone doesn't ask me about my past, they will ask me about my future. They will ask me about, Swamiji, how was this morning? That's also past. They'll ask me, what did you have for lunch? That was also past. They can ask me about 1 hour ago. That is also past. Isn't it? So can you stop the world? So we have to, once you recognize this, that you can't stop the world. You can't stop the world. You will get agitated as a result of it after some time. Then her answer comes. What is that? You remember what you said?
That it just comes and goes.
that every thought is coming and going.
But then
So there is no way that the mind is attached to any thought, isn't it?
Don't give any value.
So mind is not attached. So first you gave value to a collection of words and that created an environment in the mind. Baghdad, blah, 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 and all the friends. But what are all those things that that created an idea? They were nothing but thoughts put together. Now you start thinking more subtly. And that understanding is that really, body is continuously changing, breath is continuously changing, mind is continuously changing, waker is every day changing, deep sleeper is every day changing, dreamer is every day changing. I cannot be attached to anything. Really, it is not possible. And yet, we find ourselves in that trap. So the dispassion, the result of this inquiry and applying it on ourselves, the first symptom is dispassion. You will start seeing that you are not affected by anything. You are not affected by anything. There is a nirasta, there is no interest to get involved in anything. There is no interest. You are saying something?
No, I was just telling that it's actually that you accept, it comes and goes, is actually a true test of your equanimity.
Correct.
Because
absolutely. Very well said. Unmoved by anything. So that is the stage we want to get to. So if you can come to this recognition even right now, that the breath is going, I am the watcher. The thoughts are coming and going, I am the watcher. You don't even have to say I am the watcher, you just observe. And if you're observing that the thoughts are coming and going through your mind, you are witnessing, story over. But are you able to stay there? That's another matter. That requires practice, again and again, go deeper and deeper. So here he says, tranquility, peace, the true silence comes when the whole world is devalued. Devaluing means that there is no hook. The world is not able to hook you. You are not giving any attention to it. You are not giving any value to it. Normally we just think about the whole world. Better to think, rather than thinking like that, you divide the whole world into three parts. The waking, dream and deep sleep. Then you are handling the whole world. Otherwise, normally it is only the waking world that we are dealing with. When we say, oh, how do I deal with get despair? And you find it becomes difficult to separate the nears and dears from you. It becomes very difficult to separate yourself from all the trappings that you have surrounded yourself with. But the moment you take the position that I know the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper coming every day and going every day and their corresponding worlds, then automatically you have taken care of everything in the waking world without going one by one by one by one by one. Do you try to give up everything in the dream world one by one, or just wake up and say, that was an imagination of the mind, isn't it? Same thing here also. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to do it to yourself. You have to be the witness. No touching hand, no kataksha netra, no mantra being breathed into your ear or spoken into ear. Nothing of that will help, because it is the journey of the one by the one, in the one. There is no place for any god, any demigod, any guru as a person outside. No, no place for all that. All they are necessary, yes. Initial stages, they are all necessary to prompt us in the right direction. But none of them can help you realize. Because when you come to this point, you will recognize the God is also the self, the Guru is also the self alone. But this is the ultimate. As long as you don't misunderstand what I just said. Freedom from sukha dukha. So if we have become dispassionate from the world, naturally, all the joys and sorrows of the world which we find ourselves being blasted with every now and then, on a daily basis, we will become free. If we have become given zero value to the world, then all the joys and sorrow of the world also will have zero value, isn't it? How do we get joys and sorrows? Because of our likes and dislikes. We divide the world, our mind divides the world into likes and dislikes. And because of these likes and dislikes, there is an experience of joy or sorrow. That which I get attached to, I like, or that which I like, I want to get attached to. That which I dislike, I want to get detached to. If detachment is not there, there will be sorrow. If detachment is there with which I don't like, there will be joy. If there is something that I like, if I get attached to what I like, there will be joy. If someone pulls me away from which I like, there will be sorrow. The world is continuously throwing at something or the other at us. It is our mind. And let's go again. The world is continuously throwing something at us on a daily basis. Circumstances, situations, events, happenings, whether it be weather, whether it be people, different people come into our life, each one is making an impact or is impact on us through their thought, word and deed, isn't it? Do we have any control on what each one through their thought, word and deed is bombarding us with? We've got no control. So this is called the destiny or the prarabdha. What is it? We have got no control over what the world throws at us. We have got no control. When we get attached to this, what is being thrown, then if the mind starts giving value to it, if someone says, "Oh, beautiful one, I like him," immediately the mind creates a liking and becomes joyful. It's also seeking joy. Who? The mind. Its source is joy. Its source is Anand. So it is seeking. But unfortunately, it is extroverted and starts giving value to these events and starts defining them. The idea is, if you want to get away from this, the way is, you cannot stop the world from sending you whatever experiences it is sending. So instead of creating likes and dislikes, you make a choice. What do you want to do? Mind will always react in likes and dislikes, but you get into your intellect. You practice your choice. You apply your choice. And that is the moment when you are interacting with the world that you can apply the choice. Do you want to get into the likes and dislikes, or do I want to remain the witness? I don't want to be disturbed by it. I don't want to give value to it. because that is not the goal of my life. See? So that choice we have of how we interact with what the world is throwing at us. What the world is throwing at us, we have got no control over. See? Will I go to sleep at 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. Will I get hungry at 9 o'clock after the class? I don't know. If hunger comes, I have got a choice. Whether to give in to the hunger or remain undisturbed while the class is going on. Someone started. Huh? So that choice we have, and we have to apply that choice to determine, do we give value to the world or we remain witness of what is coming. If you remain witness, you are given zero value to the world. If you remain undisturbed, you are given zero value to the world. This is exactly, so many in last few classes, this point has come. The first step of yoga, yama and niyama. Do not be disturbed by the thought, word and deed of anyone in the world, nor by your thought, word and deed disturb anyone in the world. See? This is the second point. So first was dispassion, that was the symptom, that you are disinterested in anything. It is not able to, that you find the value giving to the world is decreasing as the time is passing by. Second is that you are becoming free from joys and sorrows. The oscillation of your joys and sorrows that we, Yahoo, see now the football, soccer is going on. One goal, yeah, everyone screaming. The same team, someone else, the other team does. The whole stadium, the whole. This is joy and sorrow at a mass scale. This is what is happening in here also. You start finding that you are not caught up in the joys and sorrows of the world. Even if, remember this very subtle point, even if the mind for some reason, because of past habits, past habits, is reacting to certain experiences, situations, events with joy and sorrow, immediately after that you catch yourself. Unnecessarily I was getting excited. Unnecessarily I was getting sad about that. You keep catching yourself, and after some time, same thing people are doing. Now there is no reaction, not only outside, there is no reaction from you, within you also, in your mind. And at that moment, you find you are the witness. To maintain this distinction, every moment of our life is the result of the practice of Panchakosha. What is the distinction? That I am other than the body, breath, mind, intellect. I am the witness of the body, breath, mind, intellect. Not just, don't take the world, because world is nothing but the mind expanded. Just like in dream. Concentrate, I am not the body, I am not the breath, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. When this matures, when this contemplation matures subjectively, witnessing will begin. Frequency of thoughts with reference to Annamaya Kosha, Pranmaya Kosha become less with reference to Vijnanmaya Kosha. The Kartrutva Abhiman becomes less intense. Meaning, as the obsession with the body reduces, to that extent the doership will also reduce. To that extent, enjoyership will also reduce. Because the root problem is the identification with the body. And because of this identification, if this body was not there, can the mind be there? The mind cannot be there. So mind is a product of this, from Vedanta point of view, this impossible marriage between consciousness and matter. Not unholy, impossible. Not possible. And yet it seems to be there. So this root problem, that I am the body, that my identification with the body, that my existence is only from the birth till the death of this body, that my existence is because of the nourishment of this body, then I have to protect, I have to secure, I have to clean, I have to bathe, I have to dress, and I have to produce, and the whole life goes only at what the nature of the body is, that alone will express then, isn't it? So, as our obsession with the body reduces, to that extent our doership, our activity in the world will also reduce. Activity in the world will not reduce if body disidentification is not taking place. And if you say this body disidentification is going on, if you keep thinking about the body, it will never reduce. I am not the body, I am not the body. You are the body then. Don't think. This is a big trap. If you keep saying, I am not angry, I am not angry, I am not, you are angry. Personality. You are not conquered anger then. I am not jealous, I am not jealous. You are meditating on jealousy only then. So if you are saying I am not the body, I am not the body, I am not the body, you are meditating on the body, and the body identification is pakka. Then what do you have to do? Then you have to think of something subtler. Whenever we think of something subtler, something finer, something higher, then the grosser will drop away, isn't it? When you think of that which cannot be thought about, what is that? Sleep. I'm not talking about self, simple. Nobody has seen what is sleep, isn't it? But we think about it, it's subtlest. The identification with the world drops away, the identification with the body drops away, the identification with the likes and dislikes drop away, the identification with all concepts which define who you are. Everything drops away. All the doership drops away, all the enjoyership drops away. Why? Because you are identified, you know that all this joy is not of the world, is not equal to the joy of the sleep. Isn't it? Somewhere deep inside you know that. Point is, when you think of something subtler, the grosser automatically drops away. You don't keep saying, I am not the body, I am going to sleep. I am not the body, I am going to Anandamaya Kosh. You don't say that. This is just technical explanation. So don't misunderstand the whole process. So as the doership becomes less and less and less, remember the goal is from efforts to effortlessness, isn't it? You put efforts to go to sleep, and eventually, till you do not become effortless, sleep does not take you over. You put efforts to sit in meditation or start doing your japa, till you don't become effortless, a jap doesn't begin. Till you don't put efforts initially to sit in meditation, then Real meditation begins when it becomes effortless. That was just a preparation. See? For everything it is like this. At a very gross level, to cook a dish, initially it is very hard. But till you become, when it becomes effortless, without thinking, tat, 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 and the dish comes out, isn't it? But till you don't know, till you are still separate to it, till you have not mastered it, till it has not become one with you, till then efforts have to be put.
So, Swamiji, is effortlessness subjective again?
Of course. Effortlessness means the doership is just that what you call the threshold of merging is effortlessness. Threshold. Initially, when I was used to speak, lot of effort, lot of preparation. Now, effortless. So now, does it mean that I am the speaker? I am watching that the speaking is taking place. And that's a continuous dance that is going on. Sometimes you get identified, sometimes you stand apart. Sometimes you get identified, sometimes you stand apart. Depending upon what poise I am in. See? So even while I am saying all these words, I am watching that these words are coming out of the mouth, the ideas are getting formulated in the mind. I don't know what next is going to come, but I am watching that mind is coming up with all these things. It's a joy when you stand apart and watch this whole thing go on. See? Then it is effortless. Right now there is no effort. As a child, to learn to walk is effort. Now, no effort. But remember, at a gross level, effortlessness will turn into effort. Now the knee is hurting. So again effort.
Yeah, I want to ask effortlessness and being in self.
Same.
Same.
Effortlessness is only to cancel efforts.
Being in the self.
Just like, remember in the morning class, Sat is there only to cancel Asat. Atma is just as it is. It cannot be defined by the word Sat or by Chit or by... So similarly, because we are addicted to doing something and we call that as effort, isn't it? That I have to put effort to do something. So they are saying, you're putting efforts, if you at all you want to put efforts in life, then put it intelligently. Your goal is not to keep putting efforts after efforts after efforts, and then you create a big web of, around yourself. It must lead to effortlessness. Okay? But if all your efforts are leading to more efforts, understand, you've gone the wrong way. Efforts must lead to effortlessness. So that effortlessness is for the doer. So the doer who's putting the effort, he must understand that he must reach a point where things are automatically taking place. Without his will, without his thinking, without his putting efforts. And that can only be recognized when the doership has gone, isn't it? So till we are thinking, I am a doer, and that doing can happen at the level of body, it can happen at level of speech, it can happen at level of thoughts, isn't it? I am thinking, I am speaking, I am doing something with the body. So when we come to recognize that all these activities are just taking place, till I feel that I have to get rid of these, till then you will keep putting efforts. at the gross body level, at the speech level, and at the mental level. You'll try to get rid of thoughts. You'll try to forcefully, I am for 15 days, I am sitting in silence. And after that, take revenge for the rest 15 days. Then again, get frustrated by how much you have spoken, and again 15 days. There is one Mahatma I know. Every month, 15 days, sits in silence. The next 15 days, speak, again gets frustrated. I don't know, I shouldn't say gets frustrated or not. But now he has created a cycle for himself. Every month, 15 days in silence. Identification with the Anandamaya Kosh, the Bhoktrutva Abhiman, gets less and joyful experiences are surrendered at the feet of the Lord. Meditation is no longer something that was enjoyed. Initial stages when we are doing meditation, taking the name of the Lord, sitting in silence, doing pranayam, energy starts moving upwards. Head becomes very light. We see hear beautiful sounds. We see beautiful gods coming and presenting themselves. Many things happen. And the body becomes so light. Then such a seeker wants to experience that again and again, because that becomes that joy that he is experiencing on the seat of meditation or in a bhajan satsang or even in a satsang like this is greater than the joy that he or she gets from the objects of the world. See? Because this joy is not gross, this joy is subtle. So the intellectual joy is greater through intellectual understanding. Yeah. So even this joy, it's good, experience it. It's coming, you can't help it, but don't take the ownership. See, in Vedanta, we give up the body identification, we give up the vital breath identification, we give up the mental identification, and then we give up the identification with the intellectual sheath. Then we do not give up the identification with the Anandamaya Kosh. We go from there in Anandamaya Kosh. See, there are two ways. Either from there you go straight, intellectual sheath, you go from the individual intellect to the total intellect. Total intellect is what? The mind of the Lord, isn't it? God realization. The other is, don't go into that. Go into the God business. From intellectual sheath, straight away. There is nothing called Anand. There is nothing called void. There is nothing called emptiness. Straight away come to yourself. Chid Akash. Conscious space. When the last thought ceases to erupt, then it is not emptiness. Then it is conscious space. Anandamaya Kosh is termed only because you go to sleep. If Anandamaya Kosh is experienced consciously, it is self-realization.
Is that samadhi?
That is samadhi, not self-realization, samadhi, sorry. That is samadhi. See? So what is samadhi? In samadhi, the person is absolutely aware of the self. But that steady attention on the self will only be possible to the extent he has purified his mind, to the extent that he has learned how to make his mind single pointed on the self. Only till that extent. And when that moment of intense single pointedness stops for whatever reason, just like we come out of sleep, We don't know what time the alarm goes and we wake up. If you don't put the alarm, whatever time you decide. Before you went to meditation, at 9 o'clock, oh, I got a meeting. Nature will organize itself. That you go into the meditation, you go into samadhi, and you will come out of it. Just like you come out of sleep. But in sleep, you are aware of nothing. In samadhi, you are aware. And you are watching the mind becoming active again. So mind was absorbed into the self, and now, I shouldn't say absorbed, mind was single pointed on the self, and then suddenly it becomes distracted by some other thought, and the multiplicity of thoughts starts increasing in the mind. Then you come out of it.
I mean, the conscious state, are you saying that with no awareness about the world?
Initially, no awareness. Initially, mind gets absorbed, no? If you're talking from samadhi point of view, you have done pratyahar, you have done dharana, then you have done dhyan, and then you come into samadhi. So slowly the thoughts are becoming less and less and less and less. And eventually you go into merge, you become so single pointed, you can't hear the sounds, you can't hear anything. But then later on, you can, when you come out, you can hear everything. Initial stages, you are aware of everything around, all the sounds and everything. See, as long as you feel that the disturbances of the outside world are disturbing you, then you want to go deep into yourself. You want to cut out everything. But when you come to realize there is another way, that I am undisturbed by all this, just think that way. So right now some noise is going on at the back, that the door was open and it closed again. Did it disturb you? You probably did not even hear the sound of the door open and close, isn't it? So it happened. Were you in meditation? Were you sleeping? You are totally wide awake right now. But you are focused on something, isn't it? When you become focused on something, you become unaware. Even though it is there is no value given to it. But if you create a thought before going into meditation that I want to be aware of everything, then that is what the experience will be. Because meditation, samadhi is only an experience. It is not realization. So to dilute this enjoyership, remember ego expresses a doership and enjoyership. Doership, efforts to effortlessness. Enjoyership, from whatever joys that you are experiencing in your life, surrender them at the feet of the Lord. Don't take ownership of it. So whether that joy is in the outer world, whatever joy is from promotion, from more salary, from good food, from whatever, that I'm alive today, to the joys that you initially, the joy of meditation keeps bringing you back to the meditation, otherwise you will not go back to the meditation. Just like the joy of sleep is taking you back to sleep every night. The joy of food is taking you back to a certain type of food every day. See? Similarly, the joy of meditation. And once you, initially it begins that way only. So to experience that joy, you are coming to the seat of meditation again and again. To experience the joy of contemplation, you are coming to the satsang again and again and again and again. It could be the joy of clarity, it could be the joy of contemplation, it could be the joy of intellectual gymnastics. For some people it is that. So however you take that joy to be. For some people it is the joy. For some people, oh, this is the best place to sleep. That is also a joy for them.
Swamiji, in samadhi, is it possible to voluntarily give up your body?
Very, very highly evolved sadhakas. Swami Paramahansa Yogananda did that.
Vivekananda.
Huh?
Swami Vivekananda.
Did he do that? I have not read his biography. He did? Yeah. But lot of Mahatmas are able to do that. Lot of Mahatmas. And understand Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the next stage from Nirvikalpa Samadhi is Sahaja Samadhi, which is natural state. And lot of Mahatmas are in that natural state and they can give up their body also. Or they just allow the body to be dropped wherever it drops. They don't have to go again and again into meditation in order to be with themselves. If you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you have to go again and again. When you are in Sahaja Samadhi, there is no do's and don'ts. You are always in that awareness of the self. Always. You are the self, in fact. So if the mind feels like meditating, it will meditate. If it doesn't feel like meditating, years on end it will not meditate. But that does not mean because this Mahatma is not sitting in meditation, he is not a Mahatma. Nobody has seen Nityananda Maharaj towards his later in life. I never saw him sitting in meditation. Never. Nobody has seen Satya Sai Baba sitting in meditation. Earlier days he used to. Nobody has seen Ammachi sitting in meditation nowadays. They are in Sahaja Bhav. It's a natural state. Now there is no more doing. There is no more joy of seeking the bliss. They are the bliss. Sahaja means natural. So, how long will you keep meditating? How long will you keep going into samadhi? As long as you feel, as long as the mind feels that it is something to be enjoyed. When will it stop? The day the seeker recognizes that this joy is not to be enjoyed. It is me. Because the self is Satchidanand. So the joy that the mind is experiencing, it is keeping me in the loop of doing something. Doing is going to the seat of meditation, going into samadhi, then coming out, then again going in, coming out. When it clicks by the grace of the Lord that this joy that the mind is seeking is my essential nature, because I am Satchidananda Swarup, that moment the mind stops. And it will become Sahaj. No more seeking after that. No more striving. So in this way, the more the contemplation on the Panchakosha Vivek, the more one applies it to every encounter in this world, the more established one becomes in the spiritual way of life. It is no more a part-time occupation, but an all-time preoccupation. Half-hearted spirituality is neither here nor there. So this is not a practice which has to be applied when you are free from work and after you have watched your favorite show on the TV, finished your dinner, and then you sit down. Acha, chalo, let's contemplate on Panchakosha Vivek. Or you get up early in the morning and you sit down, Acha Panchakosh, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. No, no, no. Oh, nothing will happen. It has to be practiced 24/7. Find out where you are. If you are sitting down, if you are disturbed on account of the body movement, start witnessing the body. If you are disturbed on account of the hunger and thirst, start observing both of them or the breath. Right now, if you are disturbed means does not mean that our understanding of disturbance means something. No, disturbance means reaction. That is disturbance. If mind is reacting to something, understand it's a disturbance. If one thought is giving birth to another thought, understand that is disturbance. What is your definition of disturbance also has to be very clear. See? So, till you do not go to sleep, even thinking about sleep is a disturbance to you, isn't it? Because it's not allowing you to go to sleep. Exactly the same thing in meditation also. Exactly the same thing. As long as you are thinking of meditation, you are not in meditation.
Even dream state is a state of disturbance.
Of course, dream state is a state of Maha disturbance. Waking is the sattvic state, dream is the rajasic state, and deep sleep is tamasic state. Rajasic, why? Because the events are happening so fast in dream. Lifetime, sometimes whole life you pass. You born in your dream and you die also in your dream. You get married, you have children. That time, the time span is huge.
But then why is deep sleep tamasic? Because that's nearest to bliss.
But out of ignorance, you don't know it. Question is not about deep sleep. Question is, are you aware? Because deep sleep is an inert state. Deep sleep is an inert state.
But
Dream world and waking world are also inert. They have come out of the inert deep sleep state. So whatever has come out of inert cannot be living. It is also inert.
yeah, but in deep sleep the mind is, you could
Absorbed.
say, thought free.
Thought free.
Yeah.
It has become zero.
So that's nearest to the bliss state. So that
It's
is
not nearest to the bliss state. It is that itself is called the bliss state.
bliss state. So why is it?
So bliss state is not other than zero mind.
Yeah, but then what I'm asking, why is it tamasic? It should be,
Because you don't know it.
yeah, I was saying that is sattvic because
No,
that's
no,
more
no, no,
pure.
no, no, no. It's you sit in meditation, you will be more afraid of empty mind than busy mind. We are afraid of the unknown. We are afraid of darkness. We are afraid of void, isn't it? And that is what it is. And you have to conquer all those fears as you come into samadhi, because samadhi is where your mind will become empty and you have to be comfortable without becoming anything. Because if one thought is there, you have become something. And that is a safety hook that you have. The mind has. The ego has, sorry. But if last thought goes away and you're still comfortable, ego dies, self reveals. At that very moment. Just like you are sitting, if I say Shri, wife Mini will express. If your daughter comes, at that, without wasting any moment, without thinking, mother Mini will express, isn't it? Exactly like that. The ego will, just like wife Mini and mother Mini are Mini alone. Like that. The self alone, the what you call, what I was saying, the ego, without any lag, it reverts back to its original. Just like Mother Mini and the wife Mini, they are not real objects, they are just imaginary roles that you are playing. Exactly the same way, ego is an imaginary thing. It is not the real one. But you have to be comfortable of the journey. You have to overcome. If you say there is no fear, then good. Get there. When that happens, if you are comfortable with the empty mind, then fantastic. All this knowledge is for that purpose. So waking is sattvic, dream is rajasic, sleep is tamasic. And that is why sadhana can be done only in a sattvic state, not in rajasic state, nor in tamasic state. Tamasic state is nidra, alasya, pramad. Sleep, procrastination, inadvertence. Rajasic will lead to anger, jealousy, etc., etc. All dynamism. I have to do this, I have to do that. Automatically it begins. Frustration is there, agitation is there, desire is there in dynamic state. And if that happens in your daily life, in your waking plane, when desires come, you know what happens. So this sadhana has to be practiced in waking state, which is generally sattvic, but still remnants of rajas are there. And those remnants of rajas are the doership and enjoyership. Those remnants have to be slowly be dissolved, and that is only possible in the waking state. Because the doer carries the load of the doing, carries the load of the world, and he gets tired every night and gives it up when he goes to sleep. Do it consciously. So in this way, the chapter 3 brings us to this Brahmanubhuti, wherein ya evam brahma vedaisha brahmaiva bhavati swayam brahmano nasti janmatah punaresha na jayate. So ya evam brahma vedaisha, he who knows Brahman in this manner, brahmaiva bhavati swayam, he gets the brahmatmaikya bodh. He experiences the self as the self, not as an ego, not as a person, not as an individual, but he experiences the self as the self. That is brahmatmaikya bodh. Self as himself, you can even say. And for just because Brahman is unborn, similarly, this person who has recognized himself to be Brahman, there is no more birth for such a person. This is the fruit of the whole chapter. Punaresha na jayate. Thus, he is never again born. With this, we conclude the third chapter, and our next chapter will be fourth one, which is Dvaita Vivek, discrimination of duality. We'll just sit in meditation for 5 minutes. Whatever we had just discussed towards the end of the last this class, yes. Don't think too hard. What should I think about? Just sit in silence. If any contemplation comes, contemplate. If it doesn't come, it's okay. Be comfortable. We'll conclude and then we'll sit in meditation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So without too much efforts, without too much